Guys, I protect myself in life just like I protect myself in the cage. Life insurance is the best defense when you're down for the count. And my friends at Creative Financial Network have got you covered. Even the most brutal fighters need a person in their corner. Champions prepare for every round. Make sure your loved ones are protected when life hits hard. Get started with Creative Financial Network today. Go to cfnlearnmore.com and get a quote from the top insurance companies within minutes. Or just click on the link below. My official prediction for Volkanovski versus Lopes. And I gotta tell you, you'll have all sorts of turning points in your career. Even if my career is that of a fan. Like, I remember so vividly the day I realized Volkanovski was the greatest 45-pounder to have ever done it. And he ran through a lot of guys at this point. I happened to be there in attendance when Volk won the belt over Max. It was a co-main event underneath Colby and Kamara. And I got to get there early, right? I got to get there early before everything's going on. And there's different crews that come in. You could be on the first crew. You could be on the second crew. You could be on the third crew. When you're fighting for titles, you're fighting in co-main events, you'll come in with the last crew. And that will get you to the arena about 15 minutes before the main card starts. So West Coast time, that would be 6:45 p.m. And you're going to leave your locker room about 9 o'clock. So you get about 2 hours, 15 minutes, change your clothes, pee in a cup, warm up, wrap your hands. It's plenty of time. But I'm just sharing with you, like, these are the time frames. And I got there early. I got there at 2:30. First walk is at 3:15. So I'm there 45 minutes before the very first walk of the night. And when I come into T-Mobile, there's Volkanovski. And it's a head-turning moment. You go, Volk? What is he doing here so early? He must have gotten the wrong bus. And it's a meaningful amount of time. I mean, are you going to have a competitive advantage or disadvantage? No. Are you going to have trainers that will tell you you do? Yes. But the other side of it is you do have an anxiety. It's not overly fun to be in the back just waiting for your time to come. There is definitely changes in emotions that are going up and down based on the guy in the locker room you're assigned, outcome of his match. And I just don't know anybody that's done it. I don't know anybody that goes in at a time that they're not assigned to. So I'm thinking Volk must have made a mistake. And I find out because it was like the first fight of the night, or maybe even the second fight of the night, but it was his own teammate. He had not made a mistake. He came in early. He forfeited his 6:45 call time to be there at 2:45 so that he could lend support and I think even corner. I can't guarantee you I remember if he was in the corner, but I think he cornered this younger teammate of his. And, it was impactful. That was impactful on me. This was a very cool thing. We don't have teams in MMA. And that isn't an absolute statement, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. The teams aren't real. Get recruited, or you paid some money over here, or your buddy made a phone call, but he paid some money and they had a relationship. Like, they're not a real team. And I thought that was a real team move. I thought that was a very, very cool thing for Volkanovski to do. So he goes out, he fights Max. And it was an interesting fight. I think I'll leave it at that. I mean, the people that I was around, we were a little bit surprised with the decision, but not enough that we would argue it. They were close enough and competitive enough and strange enough rounds that under a 10-9 must system, you could see where it would go either way. So that just appeared to put a wind at Volk's back. I mean, he starts running through everybody. His final fight with Max, I think his final fight is more important than his second fight. His final fight with Max, he had pulled away so greatly that the number one tool that Max has, which is conditioning, he had done to him. And Just imagine that. Imagine how good the opponent would have to be. You show up to the fight, and you have a gun. Now, you're the only one that has a gun. You have a gun. He doesn't have a gun. He's so good, he takes your gun away. Now he has a gun. You don't have a gun. Could you even imagine? At least comparatively to your skills, that guy must be pretty damn good. And that's what Volk did to Max, and it was such an eye-opening moment. And I remember Volk going into his fights with Uncle Chael. And I remember the very first fight, because I knew the world was dismissing him, and they were. He was a 3-1 underdog, for perspective. The world did not believe he could do it, but Islam saw it different. Islam knew, I can beat this guy. But Islam did not have the mind of, this is no problem, I'm going to go beat this guy. He knew he was going to have to work. He knew he was really going to have to go for it in this contest. And I tell you from that perspective because I also knew Volk wasn't going to win the world championship. If he was going to win the world championship, he would have dropped the 45-pound championship. Right? Like the two guys that are going into a fight know who's going to win. They both know who's going to win. It's not the way it's presented to you, where this guy is confident and this guy is confident. Both those guys both know who's going to win. And if you believed you were going to win, you'd have dropped the 45-pound belt. Nobody in the history of fighting, and that's an absolute statement, has been a champion at a higher weight class and gone back and defended at a lower weight class. And please don't bring the Amanda example. Neither one of those were full divisions. I only tell you that because that was the tell, right? The only thing you're really trying to find out, if you're a good handicapper, if you're good at betting on fights, you're just trying to watch both guys. You're trying to listen to their tones. You're trying to become familiar with them so that you can see any kind of a body language or a vocational hitch or hiccup. Because both guys know who's going to win. Our job is to figure out who's that guy. Which one of these two is bluffing? And when Volk fought Islam, knowing that a 55-pound champion would never return to 45, and knowing that he did not vacate the 45, I knew this was going to be a good and competitive fight. I know that because of Islam. Islam's making it very clear this is going to be a good and competitive fight, not the odds makers. They got this one wrong. But I also believed he's not going to be able to do quite enough to win the title. And I bring it to you from that perspective because when things start to unravel, they never come back. And it's a very odd thing in our sport. It's not like that in every other sport. If you go from number one and somebody runs you down, if somebody can run you down, you can come to number two. You can keep working hard and doing your thing, and then somebody else figures it out, and they catch you, and you come down to number three. It's not like that in fighting. If you're number one in fighting, and all of a sudden somebody runs you down, you're instantly number 8. You not only lose the one spot, you can't beat the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 either. It's just an interesting thing. I don't quite know where this comes from. But I will tell you, following this for an entire lifetime, I'll bring wrestling into it, I'll bring boxing into it. If you're ever number one and you lose your spot, you will never get that spot back. And the only way that you can even be competitive is if you go way down the roster. And I don't know why that is. Because the skills are there. There seems to be a hesitation. It seems to be a little bit like the 4-minute mile. But as far as a life or a career, or who has done more wonderful things, none of that was the question. Criteria right now is simply who's going to win. Lopes versus Volkanovski. And the answer is Lopes.